Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Good morning.
Today's day of learning is sponsored in memory of Hyman Slavit, Chaim Ben Dan HaKohen, dedicated by Barry Steinberg. Shem Shavan Aliyah.
Amen.
Okay. We're learning Mishna Bava Kamma, Perek Gimel, Chapter 3, Mishna Chas, Mishna 8. Shnei Shvarim Tamim, Shochavlu Zeh Azeh. Two oxen that were tamim. That means they were goring each other, but they were tam. They had not yet done it 3 times. With the owner being warned, in order to make them a mu'ad, in order to establish that this is their regular habit, and having to pay full damages. At this point, the owner pays half damages what they do. So in this case, you've got 2 oxen that damaged each other. They gored each other. Mishalmin b'maiseh chatzi nezek. So you pay the excess you pay for the excess half nezek. Meaning, let's say one ox was worth, the damage done to one ox was 100 ziz. Meaning, they gored each other. So one ox damaged the other one. The damaged one was 100. The one that got damaged that has a damage of 100 gored the other ox, and the damage done to that ox was 80. So what's the excess? 20. And whoever owes the excess because of the fact that their animal did greater damage, because it's a tam, they're going to pay half of that excess. Okay, Shnei mu'adim. If let's say both animals were mu'ad, mishamim meisin ezek shalim, then the excess is then the full amount of the excess is paid. Basically, you take a look at the damage of the damage, each one's damage. They kind of cancel out. You look at the excess, and then depending if the animal is a tam or a mu'ad, that is going to be how much the owner of the animal who did greater damage is going to have to pay. In case it's talking about in case they were both tamim, then it's going to be chatzi nezek. If they're both mu'ad, it's going to be nezek sholem. Now, echad tam ve'echad mu'ad. Let's say in this story of the animals goring each other, one was a tam, one was a mu'ad. So mu'ad b'tam, if the mu'ad did greater damage in the tam than the tam did to it, meshal b'maisin nesek shalim, then the owner of that mu'ad pays the excess of the damage. How much does he pay of the excess? Nesek shalim, the full amount, because his animal that was a mu'ad is what is liable for that excess. Tam a mu'ad. And if let's say it's the other way, where the tam did greater damage than the mu'ad did in it, the misham b'maiseh chatzi nezek, and the owner of the tam is going to pay in the excess half nezek. V'chein shnei anoshim shechavlu zeh b'zeh. 2 people who damage each other, they wound each other. Misham b'maiseh nezek shalim. So again, whoever did greater damage will have to pay the full amount of the excess. Adam b'mu'ad and mu'ad b'adam. Let's say we're talking about a case where it was a man and a mu'ad fighting. They had this guy got into a fight with an ox, and the case is that the adam mu'ad, the man did greater damage to the mu'ad, mu'ad b'adam, or let's say the mu'ad did greater damage to the man. In either case, whoever has the excess, whoever has the greater damage, has to pay the greater damage in excess of what damage was done to him or it, will have to pay the full amount of the excess, right? Because both of them are mu'ad. Both the man and the animal are mu'ad. So whichever one did the greater amount of damage will have to pay that excess in full. Now, adam b'tam b'adam. Let's say this man got into a fight with a shar that was a tam. It was not, it was tam. It was not yet. It had done it 3 times. We have not established that it's its habit to do so. And the man inflicted either more damage in the tam ba'adam, or if the shar tam, the ox that's a tam, inflicted more damage in the man. So then, adam b'tam. If it was the man who gave greater, who damaged the tam more, then he pays in the excess the full amount. Because if he is the one, his liability is as a mu'ad, nezek shalim. And therefore, the excess amount of damage, he has to pay in the full amount. Tam ba'adam, but what if it's the shar tam that did greater damage in the man? Then mashal b'meiser chatzi nezik, and the owner of that animal, that shar tam, is going to pay the excess of damage, half the nezek, because it was an animal that was a tam. Rabbi Akiva says, af tam shechava ba'adam, even a tam that does damage in a man, mishalem b'meiser nezek shalem, will pay for the excess the full amount. According to Rabbi Akiva, a shar tam, when we say a shar tam, the owner only pays chatzi nezek, half nezek. That it's talking about if it damages another animal. If it damages a person, then the halacha is it pays nezek shalem. So even though it's a shar tam, it hasn't been established that it's his habit to gore, to damage. Nonetheless, if it does it in a man, in a person, then the halacha is it pays nezek shalem. So in our case, where the question is paying the excess, the owner, if it was the shar tam that did more damage, and the owner of that shar tam has to pay the excess of the damage, the halacha is he's going to pay full amount. So the Tana Kamma says that a shar tam is a tam, whether it damages an animal, whether it gores an animal or a person. Rabbi Akiva says if it gores a person, it pays full damages, and their argument revolves around how to interpret how do we look at the derivation from the Torah, from the words of the Torah regarding this case of the tam that damaged the man. Akiva, he interprets the derivation that the Torah has to say that an animal pays full damage by a man, and the first opinion Tana Kamma holds that the same halacha that you have by a shar tam to an animal, you also have to a man. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi.